All right, so we finished with the mass volume length, and so now the last part of it is fractions, fraction action. So here's the smartboard file for all these activities listed below if you wish to make use of that. There are many PDFs that could be used each day, and you can find those in those links there to peruse those. And then you're bringing back the clothesline where you hang up that piece of string in the room, and you have these on little note cards or pieces of paper that hang on it. And then each day you're going to strategically put up a few of these fractions. So like this day, you're placing 0 and 1, blah, blah, blah. You can read through it and see which fractions you should place that day. Okay, and then we get back into, if you remember, the double number lines with the paper clip, which is such an awesome visual and a way for kids to work on practicing where a half is and a fourth is and an eighth is on a number line. And then finish off with some practice pages and some Khan Academy. So that's the gist. If I look at the smartboard file with fractions and I go back to the beginning, there is not a warm-up on some of these, okay? But as you keep going through, it will change into fraction warm-ups. So first you start off with the pattern blocks, and here's a link to the pattern block app. You could have them using that app if you want, but knowing that this hexagon, if we say that's worth 1, then what's the triangle? Remember all those? And then we're going to start comparing fractional amounts by using our pattern blocks. So what's nice in this file from last year is that if you scroll down, I have the actual pieces they should have used to compare, and then I can put them together and show that that the half ends up being more, right, than the 2/6. And then let's see, if you go to the next day, then you're just practicing again comparing fractions using those pattern blocks as a helper tool. And then there's a game, the hexagon spin and fill. This is in the math room also, and you can read through on how you play that game again. Okay. Then if you go to day 3, you'll finally see some warm-ups that all deal with fractions. So maybe you're like, no, I want to warm up with the mass, length, and volume spinner, and I want to just do an exploration. I just want to keep that going every day. Then do it. This is here for you if you want it. And then you're going to do that clothesline fraction activity where you're hanging up those cards, and you can read through the notes on which ones you're supposed to do on day 1. And then you hand out the number lines, we fill in those missing pieces here, and get in those eighths, and get in some equivalent fractions. And then we fold it, and we then are able to move a paper clip. So I say, okay, everybody, I want you to move your paper clip to where you think a half is. So then you have someone come up to the board, move where they think a half is, and then we're going to scroll down and see how close we were. Okay, but theirs, they just flip it over. So that's what's nice about that. And then you go and slide into the next day, more fraction action for some warm-ups if you want. Put some more fractions on your clothesline, and then practice again with the number line, a few of those, and there's a PDF page to practice filling in the blanks on number lines. There's the rest of that page, more practice, and then you have another day of more warm-up, and then Khan Academy video and practicing some of that on the Chromebook if you would like. Okay. There is a comparing unit fractions student book page that could also be good. So if you look in the notes again, I do have practice pages with number lines, and then I have just more Khan Academy stuff, student book pages right there. If you're like, oh my God, how am I going to finish that in a week? That's why I put week 5. You probably will need another week just to finish things up from the fractions or the measurement of mass and volume and length. So you decide how that'll work for you. Again, I put question marks because, you know, it might even take you longer than that. So go forth, do mathy things, and just remember the math room does have fraction stuff. Math room has the fraction stuff right here. And if you go there, you have a fraction song from Number Rock, and you have various fraction games. Okay? All right, fraction action.